Module 1, ENT 204, Unit 1, Introduction to Entrepreneurship. Content: Introduction. 1.2, Learning Outcomes. 1.3, Definitions and Conceptual Clarifications. 1.3.1, Concept of Entrepreneurship. 1.3.2, Factors Influencing Entrepreneurship. 1.4, The Individual Characteristics. 1.4.1, Creating Successful Entrepreneurs. 1.4.2, Ethnocultural Factors. 1.5, Impact of Ethnocultural Factors on Consumer Behavior. 1.5.1, Ethnocultural Influences on Organizational Dynamics and Workplace Diversities. 1.5.2, Circumstances in the Society. 1.6, Summary. 1.7, References. Further reading, web resources. 1.8, Possible answers to self-assessment exercises within content. Introduction. In this unit, effort is made to present the basic idea about entrepreneurship as well as the factors influencing entrepreneurship. You will need to understand these factors to be able to appreciate issues you follow in the subsequent units. Learning outcomes. By the end of this unit, you should be able to 1. Discuss the meaning of entrepreneurship. 2. Understand 3 individual factors influencing entrepreneurship. 3. Evaluate the ethnocultural factors in entrepreneurship. And 4. Analyze the impact of ethnocultural factors on consumer behavior. 1.3. Definitions and conceptual clarifications of entrepreneurship. Scholars from different academic backgrounds or professions define the term entrepreneurship differently. There is no precise definition of the concept as different scholars define it differently. Gartner noted that there are as many definitions as there are scholars. This notion was emphasized by Kimberly, 1967, K-Bar, 1967, when he noted that trying to define the concept is like trying to search for an animal called Everlump. Many have tried to describe it, but there is no commonly accepted description. This, as K-Bar 2003 observed, there is no precise or agreed definition of entrepreneurship. Entrepreneurship is derived from the French term entreprendre, which means to undertake, to pursue opportunities, to fulfill the needs and wants through innovation and starting businesses. Many scholars simply equate it with starting one's own business. Some Peter 1950 view entrepreneurship as an established way of doing business are destroyed by the creation of new and better ways to do them. Most economists today agree that entrepreneurship is a necessary ingredient for stimulating economic growth and employment opportunities in our society. In the developing world like Nigeria, successful small businesses are the primary engines for job creation, income growth, and poverty reduction. 1.3.1, Concept of Entrepreneurship. Peter Drucker An authority on management theory noted that although the term entrepreneurship has been used for over 200 years, there has been total confusion over the definition. Substantial disagreement concerns the concept of entrepreneurship in the individual who is called an entrepreneur. In an article published in the Advanced Management Journal, Michael Mons says that early definitions of entrepreneurs were developed by economists. This definition emphasizes factors such as risk and financial capital. Thus, one of the earliest references to the term entrepreneurship has been traced to Richard Cantillon's work in the field of economics in 1734. To Cantillon, entrepreneurship was self-employment with an uncertain return by the early 1900s. Joseph A. Schumpeter had described an entrepreneur as a person who carries out new combinations, which may take the form of new product, processes, markets, organization forms, or sources of supply. Schumpeter is known for his concept of creative destruction, which states that entrepreneurs are a force for change and make existing products obsolete. The definition and others during this time period emphasized innovation. Research in the late 1990s often focused on personality traits of entrepreneurs, trying to determine if entrepreneurs are different personality traits than the people who choose to work in corporations. Michael Morris and his co-author have tried to combine many of these varying concepts of entrepreneurship by developing the following definition. Entrepreneurship is a process activity. It generally involves the following inputs: an opportunity, one or more proactive individuals, an organization context, risk, innovation, and resource. You can produce the following outcomes: a new venture or enterprise, value, new products or processes, profit or personal benefit, and growth. Factors influencing entrepreneurship. There is still no agreement on why some people choose self-employment and others choose to work for someone else. One recent study has identified 4 spheres of influence in determining entrepreneurial behavior: the individual, the ethno-cultural environment, the circumstances in society, and a combination of these. Self-assessment exercises. 1. Question 1. What is the significance of varying definition of entrepreneurship according to different scholars, and how do this definition impact our understanding of the concept? Question 2. Why is there no precise or agreed definition of entrepreneurship, and how have different scholars conceptualized future behavior? Many studies still focus on the entrepreneurs. Some people such as Peter Drucker do not believe that traits are deciding factors I believe that anyone can be taught to be an entrepreneur. There is also concern as to cause and effect, since many studies of entrepreneur are completed once the person is a successful business owner. First, that the experience of entrepreneurship affect the individual's personality. Michael Morris points out that the psychological and behavior of the entrepreneur may change as the business evolves. There is also concern as to cause and effect, since many studies of entrepreneurs are completed once the person is. It is impossible that as Stan Cromie noted in his article on entrepreneurship, many vocational counselors consider personality in helping people decide on a career choice. Factors that may be considered include basic values and beliefs, personality traits, personal needs, and the person's self-concept. It is often argued that people choose jobs that fit their needs and are consistent with their self-image. One recent study found that personality is a core antecedent of pre-entrepreneurship. This study looked at how views on self-employment are related to personality. The study explored the big five personality characteristics and the impact of this on view of entrepreneurship. The big five characteristics include extraversion, conscientiousness, agreeableness, openness, and neuroticism. This study found that the characteristic of openness is an important factor of entrepreneurship. This is the part of personality that fosters creativity, originality, and receptiveness to new experience. 1.4.1 Traits in successful entrepreneurship. Whether entrepreneurial tendencies exist at birth or are developed as a person matures. Certain traits are usually evident in those who enjoy success. Many of these traits have been found in successful managers as well as entrepreneurs. Let's examine some of these traits. Passion for the business. The entrepreneur must have more than a casual interest in the business before he or she must overcome many hurdles and obstacles. If there is no passion or consuming interest, the business will succeed. The personal or emotional commitment was described by someone saying, "I couldn't live without giving this a full try." Tenacity despite failure. Because of the hurdles and obstacles that must be overcome, the entrepreneurs must be consistently persistent. Many successful entrepreneurs succeeded only after they had failed several times. It has been stated that the successful entrepreneurs don't have failures, they have learning experiences. They know that difficulties are merely opportunities to work in work clothes. Paul Gordon, CEO of Scoreboard Incorporation, says, "You can't be afraid of failing. You may have to try 7 or 8 times." Confidence. Entrepreneurs are confident in their abilities and the business concept. They believe they have the ability to accomplish whatever they set out to do. This confidence is not unfolded. However, often they have an in-depth knowledge of the market and industry, and they have conducted months of months and sometimes years of investigation. It is common for entrepreneurs to learn an industry while working for someone else. This allows them to gain knowledge and make mistakes before striking out on their own. One successful entrepreneur described the advantage by saying, "I rather learn how to ride a bike on somebody else's bicycle than on mine." Self-determination. Nearly every authority on entrepreneurship recognizes the importance of self-motivation and self-determination for entrepreneurial success. John P. Goodman, director of the University of Southern, Southern California Entrepreneur Program, states that self-determination is a crucial sign of a successful entrepreneur because self-entrepreneurs act out of choice. There are never victims of fate. 33 entrepreneurs believe that their success or failure depends on their own action. This quality is known as the internal locus of control. A person believes that the fate, the economy, or other outside factor determines success as an external locus of control and is not likely to succeed as an entrepreneur. Management of risk. The general public often believe the entrepreneurs take high risk. However, that is usually not true. First, more than one third of those trying to get a business started have a full-time or part-time job and they are running another business. They do not put all of their resources and time or auto differential until it appears to be viable. Entrepreneurs often define the risk early in the process and minimize them to the extent possible. Looking at changes as opportunities. To the general public, change is often frightening and is something to be avoided. Entrepreneurs, however, see change as normal and necessary. They search for change, respond to it, and exploit it as an opportunity, which is the basis of innovation. Tolerance for ambiguity. The life of an entrepreneur is unstructured. No one is certain schedule or step-by-step processes for the entrepreneur to follow. There is no guarantee of success. Uncontrollable factors such as the economy, the weather, and the changes in consumer taste often have a dramatic effect on a business. An entrepreneur's life has been described as a professional life riddled by ambiguity, a consistent lack of clarity. The successful entrepreneur feels comfortable with this uncertainty. Initiative and a need for achievement. Almost everyone agrees that the successful entrepreneurs take the initiative in situations where others may not. The willingness to act on their ideas often distinguishes them from those who are not entrepreneurs. Many people have good ideas but these ideas are not converted into actions. Entrepreneurs act on their ideas because they have a high need for achievement, shown in many studies to be higher than to be higher than that of the general population. That achievement motive is converted into drive in initiative that results in accomplishment. Detail orientation and perfectionism. Entrepreneurs are often perfectionists and strive for excellence or perfection. Helps make the business successful. Attention to detail and the need for perfection result in a quality product or service. However, this often becomes a source of frustration for employees who may not be perfectionists themselves. Because of this, the employees may perceive the entrepreneur as a difficult employer. Perception of passing time. Entrepreneurs are aware that time is passing quickly and they therefore often appear to be impatient. Because of this time orientation, nothing is ever done soon enough and everything is a crisis. As with the tendency for perfectionism, this hurried up an attitude may irritate employees who do not see the same urgency in all situations. Creativity. One of the reasons entrepreneurs are successful in that they have imagination is that they have imaginations and can envision alternative scenarios. They have ability to recognize opportunities that people do not see. Nolan Bushnell, who created the first home video game, and the Shook E. Cheese character, believe the art of creation is nothing more than taking something standard in one business and applying it to another. For example, Bushnell had worked in amusement parks while in college and was able to combine his knowledge of amusement with video technology to create a home video game. He believed that entrepreneurs must know what the customer wants, sometimes a little before they know they want it and before they know it's possible. Ability to see the big picture. Entrepreneurs often see things in a holistic sense. They can see the big picture when others see only the parts. One study found that successful owners of manufacturing firms gather more information about the business environment and more often than those who were less successful. The process known as scanning the environment allows the entrepreneur to see the entire business environment and the industry and helps to formulate the larger picture of the business activity. This is an important step in determining how the company will compete. Motivating factors. Although many people believe that entrepreneurs are motivated by money, other factors are actually more important. The need for achievement, mentioned earlier, and a desire for independence are more important than money. Entrepreneurs often decide to start their own business in order to avoid having a boss. Many are self-employed for less pay than they will receive if they work for someone else. Self-efficacy. A recent study has suggested that the concept of self-efficacy influences a person's entrepreneurial intention. Self-esteem has been defined as a person's belief in his or her capability to perform a task. One study found that a sense of personal efficacy is both accurate and strong a strong essential to the nation and persistence of personal performance in all aspects of human development. Therefore, a person who believes he or she will be successful as an entrepreneur is more likely to pursue it as a career option. Ethnocultural factors. A common finding is that ethnic enterprise is often overrepresented in small business sector. That is, members of some ethnocultural group typically have a higher rate of business formation and ownership than do others. However, the effect of culture on entrepreneurial tendencies is not completely clear because individuals from different cultural groups do not all become entrepreneurs for the same reason. The effect of culture and trade may be intertwined, since some studies have shown that different cultures have varying values and beliefs. For example, the Igbos in Nigeria have been known to have an achievement-oriented culture that helps entrepreneurs persist until they succeed. Another potential important factor is whether a culture generally has an internal locus of control. For example, US culture tends to support an internal locus of control, whereas the Russian culture does not. Individuals from a culture with an internal locus of control may be predisposed to believe they have a chance of succeeding as entrepreneurs. Also affect the image or status of entrepreneurs. One study of immigrant entrepreneurs in Canada found that those from India saw entrepreneurship as something positive, while the Haitian respondents tended to view entrepreneurship as an occupation of low self-esteem. Cultural expectations were also an obstacle for one Puerto Rican woman in Washington DC. While she was thinking of starting a business, her brother was reminding her that she should be married. Self-assessment exercise 2. Question 1. How do personality traits influence the likelihood of becoming an entrepreneur according to recent studies? Question 2. What are some key traits commonly found in successful entrepreneurs and why are they important? Impact of ethnocultural factors on consumer behavior. Ethnocultural factors influence how cultural background, traditional and ethnic identity influence cultural preferences, purchasing decision and brand loyalty. It could include case studies from various cultural contexts and examine the implication for marketing strategies. Ethnocultural influences on organization dynamics and workplace diversity. Ethnocultural diversity affects organization behavior, team dynamics, and communication within the workplace. It could cover challenges and benefits of making a cultural diversity workforce, best practices for promoting inclusivity, inclusivity and the impact of cultural competence on organizational performance. 1.5.2 Circumstances in society. In all society, there are those who had not planned to be entrepreneurs but who find at some point that they are pushed towards self-employment. Workers in the United States who have been downsized might be included in this group. The decision to become an entrepreneur was precipitated by the change in the marketplace. Immigrants in so many countries follow this route if they find that their language and job skills do not meet the needs of employers. This is considered an adaptive response behavior. One study of ethnocultural factors found that although some people do not come from an ethnocultural group that values entrepreneurship, they, they, those entrepreneurship as an adaptive response to marginality and a means to social integration. Entrepreneurship is an interdisciplinary concept, hence it contains various approaches that can be used to increase one's understanding of the field. Theories responded by various scholars include psychological, sociological, and economic. Assessment, self-assessment exercise 3. Question 1. How do ethnocultural factors impact cultural consumer behavior? And what are the implications for marketing strategies? Question 2. What are the challenges and the benefits of managing a cultural diverse workforce, and how can organizations promote inclusivity? Summary. Let us recall the major things that were discussed in this unit. Entrepreneurship is derived from the French term entrepreneur, which means to undertake, to pursue opportunity, to fulfill needs and wants through innovation and business. Individual entrepreneur characteristics. Ethnocultural and society circumstances are factors influencing entrepreneurship. Continue the reading. Almost done with the reading anyway. Possible answers to self-assessment exercises within the content. What is the significance of the varying definition of entrepreneurship according to different scholars, and how do this definition impact our understanding of the concept? The varying definitions of entrepreneurship underscore its multifaceted nature, as different scholars emphasize different aspects of the concept based on their academic backgrounds and professional perspectives. For instance, some Peter feel entrepreneurship as a process of creative destruction, where new and better ways of doing business replace established methods. This highlights the roles of innovation and change in entrepreneurship. On the other hand, early economists like Cantillon focused on self-employment and risk risk taking, emphasizing the economic aspect of entrepreneurship. Peter Drunkard and Michael Morris acknowledged the confusion and the disagreement over the definition, with Morris proposing a comprehensive definition that combines various elements such as opportunity, risk, innovation, and resource management. This broader view considers entrepreneurship as a process that leads to new ventures, value creation, and economic growth. Why is there no precise or question? Why is there no precise or agreed definition of entrepreneurship? And now have different scholars conceptualized it? Answer: there is no precise or agreed definition of entrepreneurship because scholars from different academic backgrounds and professions emphasize different aspects of the concept. As, as Gardner noted, the variety of definition is as numerous as the scholar studied it. Kiba, 1967, likened the challenges of defining entrepreneurship to searching for an elusive animal called envelope, highlighting the difficulty and lack of consensus. The term entrepreneurship originates from French word, French word entreprendre, meaning to undertake or pursue opportunity through innovation and starting businesses. Some Peter 1950 view entrepreneurship is a process of creative disruption where new methods replace established ways of doing business, emphasizing innovation and change. Early economists like Richard Cantillon, 1937, in 1734, defined it as self-employment with uncertain returns, focusing on risk and financial capital. Peter Drunkard pointed out the confusion, substantial disagreement over the concept of entrepreneurship and who qualifies as an entrepreneur. Michael Morris and his co-author developed a comprehensive definition that combines various elements: opportunity, proactive individuals, organization context, risk, innovation, and resources. This process-oriented view highlights outcomes such as ventures, value creation, new product or processes, profit, personal benefit, and growth. The diversity in definition imparts our understanding of entrepreneurship by showing its multifaceted nature, from innovation and economic growth to individual traits and environmental influences. This recognition helps appreciate the complexity and crucial role of entrepreneurship in economic development, particularly in developing countries where small businesses are key drives of job creation and poverty reduction. Question 1. How do personality traits influence the likelihood of becoming an entrepreneur according to recent studies? Recent studies indicate that answer 1. Some studies indicate that personality traits, particularly the big 5 characteristics: extraversion, conscientiousness, agreeableness, openness, and neuroticism play a significant role in influencing entrepreneurial tendencies. Among these traits, openness is highlighted as especially important as it fosters creativity, originality, and receptiveness to new experiences. These traits help individuals recognize and seize entrepreneurial opportunities. What are some key traits? Question 2. What are some key traits commonly found in successful entrepreneurs, and why are they important? Answer 2. Key traits commonly found in successful entrepreneurs include passion for the business, essential for overcoming obstacles and maintaining commitment. 2. Tenacity despite failure. Persistence is crucial as many successful entrepreneurs face multiple failures before succeeding. 3. Confidence. Belief in their abilities and business concepts, often backed by in-depth industrial knowledge. 4. Self-determination. Acting out of choice and believing in control over their success or failure. 5. Management of risk. Defining, minimizing risk early in the process to ensure viability. 6. Tolerance for ambiguity. Comfort with uncertainty and unstructured environment. And 7. Initiative and need for achievement. Proactively acting on ideas and striving for excellence. 8. Creativity. Ability to envision alternative scenarios and recognize opportunities. Question 1. How do ethnocultural factors impact consumer behavior, and what are the implications for marketing strategies? Ethnocultural factors significantly impact consumer behavior by influencing preferences, purchasing decisions, and brand loyalty. Cultural background, tradition, and ethnic identity shape how consumers perceive and interact with products and brands. For example, consumers from different cultural contexts may have varying tastes, values, and buying habits. These insights are crucial for marketers to develop tailored strategies that resonate with specific cultural groups. Ultimately, enhancing engagement and loyalty, marketing strategies need to consider these cultural nuances to effectively reach and apply to diverse consumer segments. Question 2. What are the challenges and benefits of managing a cultural diverse workforce, and how can the organization promote inclusivity? Answer 2. Managing a culturally diverse workforce presents several challenges, including potential communication barriers, cultural misunderstandings, and conflicts arising from different work styles and values. However, it also offers significant benefits such as diverse perspectives, enhanced creativities, and better problem-solving abilities. Organizations can promote inclusivity by implementing best practices such as providing cultural competence training, fostering an inclusive organization culture, encouraging open communication, and creating policies that support diversity. By embracing and effectively managing ethnocultural diversities, Diversity. Organization can improve team dynamics, enhance employee satisfaction, and boost overall performance. That's end of unit 1. So for further reading, still consult your course material. Continue from unit 2 next time. Thank you. Bye.